The Maestro is coming soon. Well, you can potentially get him if you go through the Necropolis. Yes, the Maestro. We're going to be going over some of the abilities of the champion, and also kind of this was already leaked over the weekend. So you know you've probably already seen this. Maybe have. I think it was like who was the person that leaked it? It was MCOC player on Twitter that leaked this. But to be honest, like now, I mean, like we're getting the champion, but I mean, as of now, Kabam have said about releasing content to kind of cover stuff. So we're just going to go over some things. This champion has been tipped as being still meta relevant going into the next 5 years or something. So it's a bit of a bold statement from Kabam on this one. Look, the basics here: survivability 4, damage 2.5. So they're saying low damage. Weird. Ease of use 4.5. I like that. Utility 2, defender strength 5. So is this more of a defender than an attacker based champion? Interesting. So yeah, strengths, defense. Maestro is a purpose built defender. Use him to make your worst enemies anguish. Buff conversion. Maestro loves when you remove his buffs and only get stronger. Unlike other cosmic champions, don't fear losing your buff. So it's kind of like similar to Gallon. I think we'll go into this kind of version. So we'll go over to the MCOC player version because it's just a bit more kind of like, it just looks a bit better. But I'll kind of switch between, you know, what Kabam is saying, you know, because Kabam will have like a different kind of viewpoint on stuff and kind of like pitch things. Maestro has his weaknesses: atrophy. Sorry. Maestro loves being nullified but hates when you end his buffs early. Use atrophy to take him down. If your champion's got that. Much of Maestro's damage is energy based. High energy resistance will hamper his damage. You know, Dr. Doom is one off the top of my head. Abilities. So let's go back to this image right here because we'll kind of go off this. So, signature ability, we'll go with that actually. Activating a special attack grants additional 3 neutronium as well as refresh personal fury effects. Each neutronium also grants Maestro X amount of block penetration. I do worry about going against his defense, but let's face it, is everybody going to have a Maestro within the first month, 2 months maybe? We'll have to see. A neutronium, max 40. If one of Maestro's buffs, let's zoom this in a little bit more. That's very zoomed in. If one of Maestro's buffs expires naturally, he cannot gain neutronium for 2 seconds. Okay, whenever Massacre is immune to any effect or has a buff nullified, gain 1 neutronium. And obviously it's important. After being knocked down, Maestro cannot gain neutronium for X seconds. This cannot trigger again. Expires if one Maestro buff expires naturally. These durations are removed. Second medium attacks grant Maestro neutronium, and Maestro gains 1 neutronium per second. Disabled during Cosmic Rage. He gains them 25% slower against Mystic champions. Okay, so it's all about your build of your neutronium. Fine. Okay, that will impact stuff. Not impact stuff. Is he going to be defensive and annoying? More than likely. Taking it from there. ISO buffs. While active, Maestro get... Oh, yeah, there. Here's where neutronium... This is the thing. I can read out things like neutronium, the max you've got. But what will it mean to have neutronium? Well, it's going to be a case that at 10 neutronium, gain a glancing buff, causing all incoming basic attacks to have X% chance to glance. That is going to be very frustrating as a defender. At 20 neutronium, gain a pierce buff, potency. So basically, you're going to have to be intercepting your butt off. And yeah, just relying on the fact that if you get hit through your block, not great. Don't get hit in a block. Don't block. But depending on the node in war, it could be a bit tricky. At 30 neutronium, gain a cosmic radiation buff. While active, opponents near Maestro take X energy damage. While Maestro is suffering from atrophy, reduce the potency of energy damage by 50%. That's going to be such a big thing with the atrophy. When Maestro would gain ISO 8 buff, re-trigger all other ISO 8 buffs from previous thresholds. ISO 8 buffs cannot be affected by ability accuracy and last for 2 seconds. This has got annoying defender written all over it. And look, is he going to be a trophy champion? A defensive trophy champion, but is a trophy champion nevertheless. While active, Maestro, this is Superior Rage, while active, Maestro gains attack and slowly loses neutronium. So I guess that's the thing, isn't it? Do you want to be Superior Rage is for your attack, and obviously from a defensive capability, you want to hope that the champion is like that. Yeah, this as well could be annoying for Battlegrounds, like a Battlegrounds defender. Depending on the meta and stuff, that could be a bit frustrating. I think more so because if you don't know like how to play around this champion, it can be seen as quite tough. So, I mean, look, that's first world Marvel Contest of Champions related problems to be fielding a Maestro on in your deck and fielding it. And of course, if you're facing against a 7-star version, this could be pretty scary early on, especially for those kind of like free-to-play players, you know, people that want to casually and take Necropolis at their own pace. So it could be a bit tricky, we'll have to see. Maestro has given up his superiority in order to become the most powerful Cosmic, gaining an extra attack rating against tech champions. Well, that makes sense. When entering Superior Rage, remove all personal buffs and gain a passive copy retaining to the same potency and effect. Well, that means that could be very helpful against some Mystic-based champions. Could be good. And also in general, depending on the node, if there's a node that kind of would allow you to be staggered, or I think that kind of bypasses it because it's a... Yeah, okay, yeah, it's still very effective and helpful. When knocked down during Superior Rage, Maestro loses 1 neutronium. Okay, during Superior Rage, 1 neutronium expires every second. While Maestro is suffering from atrophy, they expire 50% faster. At 40 neutronium, Maestro enters Superior Rage and gains X amount of attack rating. Of course, it's +1 because we don't know. Right, well, I'm sure we'll know at a later stage. Superior Rage ends with Maestro has 0 neutronium and removing all personal buffs, passives, and any cooldown neutronium. Maestro cannot gain neutronium for 2 seconds after Super Rage ends, so it's all about how you're building it. Of course, from a defensive point of view, you won't know. So then on to immunity. An enhanced immune system and advanced armaments provide full immunity to poison. Wow, poison, shock, and incinerate immune. Could be a handy attacker for certain hazard shifts. That's interesting. Yeah, imagine that. A hazard shift counter champion. Interesting. Interesting. Because it's like sometimes you're going, okay, well, I don't have anything that maybe shock and incinerate, you know, resist immunity, shock and poison. What is it? Poison and incinerate. If you've got that, I'm not saying that it's like the current state of all, you know, hazard shift, but if a new hazard shift comes in and you got those covered, could be very helpful, you know. Could be very helpful to have the double immunity. You won't have to worry. And then special attacks. Activating a special attack grants 2 neutronium. Superior Rage on activation inflict a root passive until the final hit of the special attack will not trigger while Maestro is suffering from atrophy. Any case, going back to the Kabam base kind of coverage on this stuff, let's see some dev notes so far. So on the neutronium, dev says this is, got to bring this into shot better, there we go. Dev says this is Maestro bread and butter. His rage inevitable, but prevent it as long as you can. Force him to end his own buff, slow his neutronium build as long as possible. Okay. And then we've got another dev note on this. Key to note that Maestro will only glance basic hits while his glancing is active. Make sure to keep a keen eye on which buffs he's got active at all times. I guess this is going to be one of these very tricky defenders to play off against. You won't like Maestro when he's angry. Okay, good. And then from an SP2 standpoint, which I think Kabam are kind of saying here, was it SP2? Use medium attacks to race to rage and use SP2 to gain max fury passives and energy resistance. Once done, pepper the opponent with tons of burst damage from the SP1. It kind of seems similar to Overseer. Not exactly, but what I'm saying is like it sounds similar in kind of build. And is there any other dev notes and stuff? No. Synergy wise, with Overseer, Maestro gains neutronium 20% faster. Personal special concussion debuffs gain 10% flat potency, but their stack limit is reduced to 4. Okay. And No, it doesn't seem to anything interesting. Except for rivals, Maestro gains 10% Fury potency for each other synergy champion on the team. And signature ability, which I think is going to be important. Activating this. Oh no, we've read that one. So that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, okay. It seems like it's going to be a very annoying defender. That's basically it in a nutshell. Which isn't necessarily a good thing, but not necessarily a bad thing at the same time. Yeah, should be really, really exciting then to see what's on offer. Shout out to MCOC Player for kind of the, you know, less white kind of version that we're covering. And yeah, what are your thoughts on Maestro from what you've read and what he's pitched? Will you be looking to get him? And as well, are you thinking some stuff with Battlegrounds maybe? An Alliance Wars Defender? I think Alliance Wars Defense is going to be a bit... I mean, that's going to be good for your... what is it called? Diversity. And also, yeah, just a tricky defender. Could even be, as we said, a sneaky little future hazard shift option if the immunities kind of, you know, pass for those particular nodes that are on there, like, you know, Incinerate, Poison, stuff like that, you know, if they do that. Thoughts in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Check out some other content located on screen right now. This should be up on the forums, I think, soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.